Majority of us would like to become an executive who's both professional at what we do and likable in our working relationship. Yet many confuse likability with someone who always says yes, who doesn't really give a lot of feedback even though it's much needed, or someone who's always agreeable. If I were to ask you who is a boss that you've worked with that you value very highly of, I think the answer would probably be along the lines of that person is very friendly, that person is professional and acclaimed in what they do, and that person would have an urge for you to improve or to propel you forward. I believe likability is someone who could create an impact on people who work with them, as well as someone who could build treasurable relationships with their working counterparts. How do we establish treasured relationships? As human beings, it's as simple as showing your human side. We connect with people on a human level. That's why if we would like to display likability, if we would like to establish connections, one of the first things to consider is authenticity. Are you able to display the real you? As a serial entrepreneur, I have had a major disaster in my first entrepreneurial journey. I lost almost all my money with my bank account only leaving me $20 US. I find that every time when I retell that story, I receive a deep connection with my audience, regardless of their age, regardless of their industry or their culture. And I attribute that to my ability to display my human side, the fact that I have had my mishap as well, the fact that I could also be unsuccessful. And people relate to that. They believe that this is someone that they could connect with because this person is as human as they are. So when we speak of authenticity and vulnerability, one of the key points is for us to be able to display our emotions. And as executives in corporates particularly, I encourage us to display our emotions, but in a contained manner, in a location, in a situation, or in a setting that you feel that is appropriate and that is psychologically safe. You could display your emotions with a aim to connect with your team or with an aim to reach out to people that you work with. Imagine working with someone who displays zero emotion, that are not moved by touching stories, that are not worried by a major lapse in sales, for instance, or that are not affected by anything around them. That is quite scary, and you cannot stop but wonder whether that person is real or whether what that person is talking about is, fabricated. So the baseline is, if you do not feel it, do not express it. And of course, as executives, one thing we need to be very careful with is, yes, we display our human side, or we display the factors that we feel we're not good at. But what adds to the likability is if your team or if people who work around you actually see that you're working on that point that you know you're not that good at, or to see that you're actually working on what you feel you need to improve. I believe that working on your shortcomings or working on a human side that you would like to work around gives you even more power. Like we say, only the strong could be soft. That is something I feel is high on the likability factor.